We are gathered here to mark the establishment of the Australia-Israel Cultural Exchange Council. I wish to introduce to you a few of the members who have gathered here today. They include, as I said, two ministers of the federal government, the Honourable Alexander Downer, Member of Parliament and Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Senator Rod Kemp, the Minister of Culture and the Arts. We also have important people from the Labour Party here. We have the Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Kevin Rudd. We have a number of other senators and members of Parliament from Labour. And now I have the pleasure to ask the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Alexander Downer, to speak to you.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador. Let me acknowledge Foreign Minister Netanyahu in Israel, and also Albert Dadon, the incoming chair of the Australia-Israel Cultural Exchange Council, and Senator Kemp, the Minister for the Arts, my parliamentary colleagues, excellencies and ladies and gentlemen. This is an exciting event today, and one that I'm delighted to participate in. As you all know, Australia's friendship and close ties with Israel are unquestioned. Those deep and abiding ties are drawn from strong political understanding and from the shared values and principles which have linked us together going right back to the founding of the State of Israel. They're strengthened immeasurably by a Jewish community in Australia which enriches our society enormously across a vast range of fields. The Australia-Israel Cultural Exchange is a very fine example of that commitment. The establishment of the Australia-Israel Cultural Exchange reflects the fact that the Jewish community is determined to raise awareness and understanding widely among the artists and communities of both our countries of our rich and varied respective cultures. I particularly appreciate the vision which underlies the establishment of the Australia-Israel Cultural Exchange, that above and beyond difficult political times, there are abiding human endeavours to which we all aspire. It's important for all of us, particularly in uncertain times such as these, to be able to join together in spreading that vision as widely and deeply as we can in both of our countries and throughout our communities. So it's with great pleasure that I now join with the Government of Israel in declaring our welcome for the Australia-Israel Cultural Exchange and its Council. And I understand that we're now ready to cross to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Israel, and Foreign Minister Netanyahu, you're to address us from Israel. Thank you.
Good evening, Canberra from Jerusalem.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Secretary, and to Rod Kemp, and to all of you in Sydney. As you can see, after a month of campaigns, the toll has been quite severe on my vocal cords. So I hope they reach to the antipode of the world. But it is a delightful antipode. I could think of no better way to start our day and to end your day than with this solidifying of a cultural exchange between our two countries. We have much similarities. We're both a country of immigrants, small populations, about the same size. You have the auspicious advantage of having the best neighbors in the world, oceans. We do not. And yet, having been in Australia now twice, a major achievement. The frequency of 15 years, once every 15 years, is not sufficient. And my children demand it now, having been with me on the second visit. They demand it annually, which is a strain on budget and time. But I'm prone to accommodate them because I've discovered that great kinship between Australia and Israel. And that's not because I climbed Uluru twice, once barefoot. It is because there is a spirit in Australia that reminds me of a certain spirit in Israel that we long to keep. It's an informality, a friendliness, and an understanding of the important things in life. The most important thing in life is life. That life is being threatened right now and taken. 250 Australians died in the wake of brutal terrorism, the same savagery that attacks us and elsewhere. And we felt an instant kinship with you, as I believe you feel with us. I think that the values of freedom, the values of decency, the respect for every individual's life is at the core of the identity of our two societies. I believe that these attacks, these values are under great attack today in our world by a force of fanaticism and brutality that seeks to restore the world to perhaps one of the darkest stages of mankind. And I think that in battling this, it is not merely a battle of, if you will, of offensive action against the terrorists and their promoters. I think that they are seeking to extinguish something. They're seeking to extinguish our way of life, the very values that we hold so cherished, the ability to have an open debate, to disagree, the ability to have people of different walks of life, from different origins, from different races, have an equal opportunity at achieving their own self-realization. This is fundamentally flawed in their eyes. The fact that we have a free press, the fact that we have even sometimes a raucously free press, the fact that women and men have the same rights, that people everywhere have the same rights and can make those rights, can express and materialize those rights. That's the foundation of our culture. That is what we're talking about. We have free, liberal societies that are under unprecedented assault, perhaps the greatest assault since 60 years ago, by a force of equal vehemence and equal fanaticism. So I think there is a great moment here when this action has taken place. It is not an accident that your government spoke so clearly and so resolutely in the wake of the attacks that took place recently in Kenya. I think probably this is an expression of that common sense that we have, that our culture, not only our citizens, our culture, our common culture of freedom and liberty, of concern for the individual, is under that attack. I think that we can do a great deal, must do a great deal, to support each other, to exchange ideas, artists, writers, intellectuals, every form of cultural expression, which is human expression, that we can. And I think we should do that at any time of the year, at any time in history, but now more so than ever. So I thank you very much for waiting patiently a few minutes, but I think this is a worthwhile one. And I thank you for what you're doing. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Well, Minister, can I thank you very warmly for the remarks you've made and just say how all of us here in Australia feel exactly as you have articulated it. The threat to our civilization, the challenge to our civilization, it's certainly that, but it's one that we all have to have the courage and also the decency to rise and to meet. And you can rest assured Australia will, and obviously we know that Israel will. With those few words, it's a pleasure that I now hand over to the founder and the chairman of the board of the Australia-Israel Cultural Exchange, Mr. Albert Dadon.